Everything we've been teaching you about the M1 rifle, sighting and aiming, positions, trigger squeeze, the whole course in marksmanship, has been leading straight to the subject we're going to take up right now. Rapid fire exercises. But let me warn you right now about that word rapid. It does not mean taking just any position, or hurrying your aim, or jerking the trigger. It does not mean spraying bullets all over the landscape. Rapid fire means getting off well-aimed shots as fast as you can. It means firing as fast as you can fire accurately, no faster. The measure of your effectiveness in rapid fire is not shots per minute, but hits per minute. Remember that when you're on the range. And remember it when your target is a Jap or a German, who's just as anxious to kill you as you are to kill him. Keep calm and hit what you're shooting at. Suppose you're in a supply detail that runs into an ambush. You've got to drop into position and get your shots off fast. But they won't do you any good unless they're well-aimed shots. Or suppose you're in a defensive position. All of a sudden, your enemy's in close, charging you from all sides. Your first impulse is to start blazing away wildly. You must not. Keep hold of yourself. You've got to shoot fast, but you've got to make every bullet count. Don't lose your head, even though hell's breaking loose all around you. Stay cool and shoot straight, and you'll live to tell your girl about it. Coolness in battle comes from confidence in yourself, and confidence comes only from hours of practice. Slow fire and rapid fire, over and over, with a stopwatch looking over your shoulder. We teach rapid fire in 3 positions. In the prone position, and in the sitting position, which are the best, and the kneeling position. The kneeling position's none too steady, but there are times when it comes in handy, and you'd better be ready for just about anything. We don't teach rapid fire in the standing position, however. It's not worth it. In the standing position, you're not properly balanced for accurate aiming at high speed. The first thing you've got to learn in rapid fire exercises is getting into the right firing position in a hurry. You're allowed to choose the position you're going to take and to mark it. For the prone position, drop to the ground, get set, and line up your sights on the target. Mark the points for your right and left elbows and the butt of the rifle. Then, keeping your feet in place, stand up. Hold the heel of the stock in your right hand. Now you're ready. At first you practice getting into the prone position by the numbers. On the count of 1, bend your knees to the ground and throw your weight back. On 2, place the butt of your rifle on the ground at the spots you marked for it. At 3, place your left elbow on its mark. At 4, take the butt of the rifle off the ground and fit it into the hollow of your shoulder. At 5, return your right hand to the small of the stock and drop your right elbow to the ground on the spot marked for it. Now immediately line up your sights on the target. Hold your breath, aim, take up the trigger slack and squeeze off the shot. Now, if your position is right, your rifle will naturally fall back on the target after each shot, and you can fire a whole clip with only slight pauses between to get your sights in perfect alignment. At first, you'll practice by the numbers, so that your coach and instructors can check the accuracy of each position and movement. Take it by the numbers once more, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. Ready position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Once you've learned it by the numbers, you'll practice against time so that you can check your progress, see how you're going. We start you slowly and speed you up gradually until you can take your position, aim, and get off your first shot in 9 seconds. Here's how it goes in dry shooting. Watch how smoothly the 5 steps flow together into one continuous motion. Go ahead, Sergeant.
Lock. Simulate load. Ready on the right. Ready on the left. Ready on the firing line. Target. Up. Time.
9 seconds doesn't sound like much time, but you've just seen that it's plenty for an experienced man. It won't be long before you'll melt smoothly into your prone position with seconds to spare to squeeze off your first shot. Naturally, the faster you get into a good position, the more time you've got to aim and fire. So, slip into position, and then take your time to get an accurate aim and a careful squeeze on that trigger. A near miss in 7 or 8 seconds is no good. What you want is a bullseye in 9 seconds. Try to get a smooth flow in every movement as you drop to the ground. Think of how it would look if every move were made very slowly. Targets. Up. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Now hold your breath and take a careful aim. 6. 7. Squeeze slowly and steadily on that trigger. 8. Time. Every one of you can do it as easily as that if you remember this one point. Do it as fast as you can do it right. Never hurry your aim or your trigger squeeze. Now for the sitting position. First, take the correct position and try it out to be sure the rifle points naturally at the target. Then mark the places for your heels and your seat. Stand up in the marks for your heels. At the command, targets up, drop quickly on the spot marked for your seat, breaking the fall with your right hand. There's another way of getting into the sitting position that you may find easier. After you've marked the places for your feet, cross your legs and rise. Stand with your legs crossed until the command targets up. Then bend your knees and sink to the ground. This is quicker than the other method, but it forces you to take your eyes off the target while you set your feet in the places marked for them. Otherwise, the action is the same. Place your left elbow. Hit the rifle butt into the hollow of your shoulder and complete your firing position. Hold your breath, aim, and squeeze off the shot. With practice, you'll be able to go from the ready to the sitting position and get off your first aim shot in 7 seconds. Sergeant, let's see that against time.
Lock. Simulate load. Ready on the right. Ready on the left. Ready on the firing line. Targets. Up.
Time. Here, too, of course, the quicker you take the correct position, the more time you've got to squeeze off your shot. The exercise in the kneeling position is like the other two. You mark the places for your feet and your right knee and get up. On command, you lock, load, and stand ready. When you hear targets up, take the kneeling position you've marked, hold your breath, aim, and squeeze the trigger. With practice, you'll be able to go from the ready position to the kneeling position and get off your first shot in 7 seconds. Target. Up. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, time.
I've said the place to save time in all three of these exercises is in taking your positions. But don't misunderstand me. That does not mean scrambling into the wrong position in a hurry. In rapid fire, just as in any other phase of rifle work, you've got to be in the correct position before you start to aim. After you've learned to take the three firing positions and squeeze off your first shot at the required speed, you're ready for the cadence exercise, the purpose of which is to develop a rhythm, a regular beat, at about 3-second intervals. For one thing, it's easier to work smoothly in a regular cadence. For another, on the range, you're allowed a limited time to take your position, fire your first clip, reload, and get off your second clip. And the 3-second interval will bring you out comfortably within the time allotted. We don't expect you to be able to do it all at once. We'll start you dry shooting at the rate of an aimed shot every 5 seconds. Then every 4.5. Then every 4, which in dry shooting corresponds to 3 seconds on the range, because the hand operation of the piece is slower than its actual operation in firing. Here again, the coach and pupil method is the best. The pupil simulates firing while the coach works the operating rod handle. To keep the bolt from being held in the open position when it is thrown back, the coach puts a small block of wood in the clip. There are several other ways to get the same result. But in this company, we find this method the easiest and the best. Your squad leaders will have a supply of these blocks and will issue them when they are needed. Let's take the exercise at 5-second intervals.
Hammers down, coach is ready. Bolt. 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 Bolt.
As I said before, in these exercises, the coach is just about as important as the rifle. In the cadence exercises, when he forces back the operating rod handle, he acts as part of the rifle. In doing this, he must not lean against the handle. He strikes the handle sharply, and immediately removes his hand, so that the bolt can snap back into position. It's a good idea for the coach to wear a glove or wrap a handkerchief around his hand. Strike that operating rod handle a couple of 100 times if you want to know why. Notice that the coach strikes the handle only when the command bolt is given by the instructor. But notice, too, that the command is given whether or not the rifleman has squeezed off his shot. If the pupil is late, the coach does not operate the bolt, but waits for the next command after the pupil is fired. You'll do this exercise a minute at a time, in the prone, then in the sitting, then in the kneeling position, gradually speeding up the cadence until you're proficient. In cadence exercises, be sure to take the correct position so that your sights return automatically to the aiming point after each shot. Keep your eye constantly on the sight picture and squeeze that trigger with a steadily increasing pressure until the hammer falls. Then keep your finger on the trigger for the next shot. Yes, I'll say it again. It's constant drill in speed and accuracy that makes the expert rifleman. But even constant drill won't do you any good unless you make each movement right every time.
Halt!